Nobody is talking about this enough. While everyone is watching Bitcoin and Ethereum, there is a project quietly doing something that has never been done before in the history of artificial intelligence. It's called Bittensor. Its token is called TAO. And in March 2026 alone, this month, it has already gone up 90%. But price is not the reason you need to know about this. The reason you need to know about this is what it's actually building. Because if it works, and the evidence is starting to suggest it might, it could be one of the most important infrastructure projects in the entire crypto space. Let's break it down from scratch. First, what is the problem Bittensor is trying to solve? Right now, artificial intelligence is controlled by a handful of companies: OpenAI, Google, Meta, Anthropic, Microsoft. These organizations have spent billions of dollars building the world's most powerful AI models, and they are the gatekeepers. They decide who gets access, at what price, under what terms. If you want to build an application using cutting-edge AI, you go to one of these companies, you pay their API fees, you agree to their terms of service, and you are at their mercy. If they change their pricing, you pay more. If they decide your use case violates their policies, you're shut down. If they go offline, so do you. That is a centralized choke point sitting at the center of the most important technology of our generation. Bittensor's answer is, what if AI was decentralized? What if, instead of a handful of corporations controlling intelligence, there was an open, permissionless network where anyone in the world could contribute computing power, data, and machine learning models, and get paid for it in crypto? That is exactly what Bittensor is building. And they call it a marketplace for artificial intelligence. Here is how it actually works. And this is the part most people skip over, so stay with me because it's important. Bittensor operates as a network of specialized subnetworks called subnets. Think of each subnet as its own marketplace, each one focused on a specific AI task. Some subnets are focused on training large language models, the kind of AI that powers chatbots. Some are focused on running AI inference, which means actually responding to queries in real time. Some handle decentralized compute. Some are focused on cybersecurity. Some on image generation. Some on data storage. Right now, there are 128 active subnets on Bittensor. Later this year, that number is expected to expand to 256, doubling the network's capacity. Each subnet has two types of participants: miners and validators. Miners are the ones doing the actual AI work. They contribute their GPU computing power, their data, their trained models to the subnet they're working in. They compete against each other to produce the highest quality outputs. Validators are the quality checkers. They evaluate the work the miners produce and score it. The better your score, the more TAO you earn. The worse your score, the less you earn, and eventually you get removed from the network entirely. This is a beautifully designed incentive mechanism. Nobody is paying miners a salary. Nobody is managing them. The code does it automatically. The network naturally gravitates toward quality because quality is what gets rewarded. Now let's talk about the token. Because TAO is not just a speculative asset, it is the fuel that the entire network runs on. TAO has a maximum supply of 21 million tokens. Sound familiar? That is exactly the same hard cap as Bitcoin. This was not accidental. Bittensor's creators deliberately modeled TAO's monetary policy on Bitcoin: fixed supply, predictable issuance, and halvings. And speaking of halvings, Bittensor had its first halving in December 2025. The daily issuance of new TAO was cut from 7,200 tokens per day to 3,600. That is a 50% reduction in new supply overnight. If you understand what Bitcoin halvings do to supply and demand dynamics, you already understand why this matters for TAO. When you stake TAO into a subnet, you are essentially backing that subnet's intelligence. You are saying, I believe this subnet produces valuable AI. The more TAO staked into a subnet, the higher that subnet's token value, and the more resources it attracts. TAO currently has around 9.6 million tokens in circulating supply, with a market cap of approximately $3 billion. CoinGecko, making it the number 33 ranked cryptocurrency globally as of today. And approximately 75% of TAO's total supply is currently staked coin market cap, which means the actual liquid, tradable supply on the market is extremely tight. Now here's the thing that really caught the market's attention this month. Bittensor's subnet 3, called Templar, produced something called Covenant 72B. This is a large language model trained permissionlessly across Bittensor's decentralized network by over 70 contributors using commodity internet hardware. The model was trained on 1.1 trillion tokens and achieved a 67.1 mmLU score. CoinDesk. That's a standardized benchmark used to test AI models across 57 different academic subjects. To put that in context, that score puts Covenant 72B in competitive range with Meta's Llama 270B, a model built by one of the most well-funded AI research teams on the planet. Bittensor's model was built by 70 random contributors with consumer GPU hardware. Meta's model was built by hundreds of the world's top AI researchers with billions of dollars in infrastructure. That is not a small achievement. That is a proof of concept for the entire Bittensor thesis. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang discussed Bittensor's Covenant 72B model on a popular podcast, while early Uber investor Jason Calacanis publicly framed TAO as a venture-style opportunity with 200x potential. Coin market cap when the CEO of Nvidia, the company that makes the chips powering all of modern AI, publicly validates your project, people pay attention. Let's look at what has happened to the price and ecosystem this month, because the numbers are extraordinary. TAO has surged about 90% in March 2026, running from around $180 to above $332. But the subnet tokens within the ecosystem have run even harder. Templar, the token for subnet 3, gained 444% in 30 days. Omega Labs rose 440%. Level 114 added 280%. Bitquant gained 230%. CoinDesk subnet staking has soared past $620 million. The combined valuation of all subnet tokens in the Bittensor ecosystem has hit approximately $1.5 billion. Coin market cap and Bittensor generated $43 million in revenue from AI customers in the first quarter of 2026. Coin market cap, that is real revenue from real customers paying for real AI services. Not speculative value. Actual money flowing through the network. Now, and this is important, because block beat buzz always gives you both sides, there are legitimate risks and criticisms of Bittensor that you need to understand before you make any decisions. Critics have pointed out that Bittensor's subnet valuations are largely sustained by TAO subsidies, an estimated $52 million in annual token incentives, rather than organic customer revenue. Coin market cap, the argument is that without these inflationary rewards, the decentralized compute on Bittensor is actually 1.6 to 3.5 times more expensive than just using a centralized cloud provider. That is a real criticism. It means that the network currently needs its token emissions to stay competitive on price. And after the halving, those emissions just got cut in half. The key question for Bittensor's long-term success is whether organic AI demand, real customers paying real money, grows fast enough to replace the shrinking token subsidies. The $43 million in Q1 revenue is promising, but it is early. The second risk is that a lot of this month's price action has been sentiment-driven. Jensen Huang's endorsement, the Covenant 72B breakthrough, the broader crypto market recovering, these things move the price fast. Fast moves can reverse fast. The third risk is smart contract risk, validator concentration risk, and the general complexity of a network this ambitious. This is not a simple protocol. It is trying to build a decentralized AI economy from scratch. That is hard. So where does that leave us? Bittensor is one of the most ambitious projects in the crypto space. It is attempting to do for artificial intelligence what Bitcoin did for money: remove the centralized gatekeepers and replace them with an open, incentive-driven network that anyone can participate in. The fundamentals right now are interesting. A 21 million token hard cap. A halving that just happened in December 2025. Over $600 million staked in the ecosystem. 128 active subnets, potentially expanding to 256. Real AI revenue. And now endorsements from the CEO of Nvidia. The risks are real too. Subsidy dependency, sentiment-driven pricing, and the sheer complexity of what they are trying to pull off. If you want to do more research, look into the Bittensor white paper, the TAO upgrade that launched in early 2025, and the Covenant 72B RZIV paper that dropped this month. All of that is publicly available. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. Understand what you're buying before you buy it. But if you have been sleeping on TAO, now you know what the conversation is actually about. Block Beat Buzz every week in plain English. Subscribe and you won't miss a thing.